Hey guys, and welcome to week 7. Hey, this week we're going to be diving into a period of history that historians have called the era of good feelings. And this is a period that comes right after the War of 1812. It's a time of increased patriotism, increased nationalism, and you can actually see during this period a lot of that nationalism sort of seeping into not only the political life and the cultural life, but also into the economic life of the United States as well. Now, the term era of good feelings is a bit of a misnomer. The period itself was actually punctuated by a lot of concerns over issues of slavery, which we're going to see this week with the Missouri Compromise, as well as some economic issues such as the Panic of 1819. So it's not quite accurate to say that this was a time in which there was no conflict, but it was definitely a period in which political division, I wouldn't say it disappears, but there is only one political party. In fact, the War of 1812 sort of puts a death nail in the Federalist Party, although again that doesn't necessarily mean that all those ideologies disappear. But generally speaking, from a political point of view, especially for the president who is sitting in the White House during this time, James Monroe, it was for him and for many historians, they have said this is an era of good feelings. But one of the things I'll let you be here is to make that decision for yourself. Do you think that this is a period of the era of good feelings? Was it a period in which prosperity was happening? Was it a time in which everyone was good, go and get lucky, I guess? I'm going to argue that in many ways that's not the case. But we are going to be looking at the Missouri Compromise this week, which is incredibly significant, and that particular compromise is going to come up over and over again, particularly as we get closer to the coming of the Civil War. We're also going to be looking at some foreign policy, specifically through the issuance of the Monroe Doctrine that the United States issues. And we've also got a film for you on slavery as just an overriding concept, overriding topic, because slavery and its westward expansion is going to come to the United States in a major way over the next 20, 30 years. And when I say it's going to come, I'm going to mean it's going to become a major topic that's really never going to go away. There will be brief periods when people don't talk about slavery as much as they will as we get closer to the war. And in fact, at one point, Congress institutes a gag rule where they won't even talk or bring up legislation or discussions about slavery because they are so divisive. But as we will see, ultimately, that's not going to prevail. The discussion is going to continue to come up. So lots of different things we're looking at this week. One of the things I just want to remind you of is that you do have a midterm exam coming up. That is going to be a AD multiple choice test that you'll have 95 minutes to complete. And it will basically cover everything from the colonial era all the way up to and through the era of good feelings. Okay. I generally don't try and trick you and go into the textbook and find like that one obscure question. But please understand that the test is based in many ways from your reading. So you want to make sure that you've been doing that reading and that you've been doing it closely. It's also based on the videos that I've provided for you each week, many of which are by John Green, as well as the lecture. So it's going to be all-encompassing. Generally, I'm going to try to provide questions which will give you a broad overview of the material we've looked at. And they're not always going to be like, hey, in what year did this happen or who did this? I try to make them a little bit more critical thinking, although you will have some questions which tend to be more identification. So you'll see how that is once you get to the test. But just be preparing for that, reviewing your notes, reviewing the lectures, reviewing the reading. Okay, guys? All right. That's what I have for you this week. Always be aware of what assignments are coming up. I think you do have your first PowerPoint assignment coming up. And I think last week's video from me talks a bit more about the material for there. So you can take a look at that video or go into your syllabus, which has all the directions for all the assignments listed there. So with that, as always, go in peace, be warm and filled. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper, and may the odds forever be in your favor. Have a blessed week, guys.